After age 60, every meal you choose can determine whether your heart stays strong for another decade or whether you end up in the emergency room with a sudden heart attack. Did you know that with just a few right foods, you can lower your risk of atherosclerosis, improve blood circulation, and prevent both heart attacks and strokes? Ask yourself, how blocked are your arteries right now, and what are you doing each day to help clear them? If you are a woman over 60, this is not just useful information, it is something you must know. This video will show you 10 foods scientifically proven to clean arteries, lower bad cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and prevent dangerous cardiovascular events. Do not wait until chest pain forces you to change, because by then it may be too late. Start today, right in your own kitchen. Aging not only changes your skin and weakens your joints, but it also quietly damages your blood vessels, especially your arteries, the lifelines that carry oxygen-rich blood from your heart to the rest of your body. In postmenopausal women, the sharp drop in estrogen makes the artery walls more vulnerable, speeds up cholesterol plaque buildup, and increases the risk of atherosclerosis several times compared to men of the same age. Many women over 60 still feel normal until sudden chest pain or shortness of breath strikes. By then, most discover that their arteries had been blocked for years without clear symptoms. According to the US CDC, more than 60% of women who die from heart disease never experienced early warning signs. Heart attacks and strokes remain the leading cause of death in older women in America. The good news is you can prevent this, starting with the simple step of choosing the right foods. Numerous medical studies show that certain foods not only lower cholesterol, but also help clean arteries, reduce inflammation in vessel walls, boost nitric oxide production, and prevent blood clots, key factors in stopping heart attacks. You do not need to look far. These foods may already be in your kitchen or at the supermarket near you. What matters is knowing how to use them correctly, understanding their benefits, and making them part of your daily heart-healthy lifestyle. In this video, you will discover the top 10 foods proven by science to protect arteries. You will learn exactly why they work, how to use them properly for older women, and important dietary notes for life after 60. This is not a trendy list, but a practical guide that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Keep watching to begin your journey to living healthier, living longer, and living free from fear of heart disease.
Food #1. Flaxseed. Among natural foods proven to benefit heart health, flaxseed stands out as one of the top choices you should not overlook, especially after age 60. These tiny seeds are packed with nutrition, particularly plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, soluble fiber, and lignans, a type of polyphenol with strong antioxidant properties. Together, these compounds not only help lower bad LDL cholesterol, but also reduce plaque buildup in the arteries, keeping blood vessels flexible and lowering the risk of dangerous blockages. After menopause, women often experience rising cholesterol, declining hormones, and increased visceral fat, all of which raise the risk of cardiovascular disease. Flaxseed has been shown in multiple studies to lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and improve arterial elasticity. This is critical because, according to the American Heart Association, lowering systolic blood pressure by just 10 millimeters of mercury can significantly reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in older adults. Flaxseed is easy to use. The best option is ground flaxseed, which you can sprinkle on your morning oatmeal, blend into a smoothie, or mix with unsweetened yogurt. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day is enough to provide real benefits. Whole flax seeds should be avoided because the body cannot absorb their nutrients effectively. If you are taking blood thinners, consult your doctor before adding flaxseed regularly to ensure safety. Flaxseed is not a drug, but it offers powerful support in preventing heart disease. For women over 60, it is a simple, accessible food that can easily become part of your daily diet to help protect your heart for the long term. Food #2. Green tea. Green tea is not only a traditional Asian beverage, but also one of the most highly regarded foods for supporting heart health, especially in older women. Research shows that drinking green tea regularly can lower the risk of heart disease by up to 20% and reduce cardiovascular-related death by 22%. These numbers are not by chance. They come from polyphenols found in tea leaves, particularly catechins, a group of powerful antioxidants that reduce inflammation, prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, and improve endothelial function in blood vessels. For women over 60, this is the stage when arteries begin to lose elasticity, blood circulation declines, and the risk of blood clots rises. Green tea helps improve circulation by boosting the production of nitric oxide, a molecule essential for dilating blood vessels and maintaining stable blood pressure. At the same time, catechins help lower blood fats, one of the major risk factors for atherosclerosis and heart attacks. To gain cardiovascular benefits, it is best to drink 1 to 3 cups of green tea daily without adding sugar or milk. For older adults with sensitive stomachs, it is advisable to drink after meals to avoid irritation. Green tea should also not be consumed at the same time as medications, since it may alter the absorption of certain compounds. Maintaining the habit of drinking green tea every day not only sharpens mental alertness, but also serves as a safe and effective way to protect the heart. This is especially valuable for women after age 60 when cardiovascular risks increase silently and rapidly.
Food #3. Walnuts. Walnuts are among the most nutrient-dense nuts for heart health, especially for women after age 60. They are rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, vitamin E, and antioxidants such as polyphenols. These nutrients have been shown to lower total cholesterol and LDL while raising beneficial HDL, supporting healthier blood circulation. Walnuts also contain L-arginine, an amino acid that promotes the production of nitric oxide, helping blood vessels relax and improving blood flow. A study published in Circulation, the Journal of the American Heart Association, found that consuming just 30 to 40 grams of walnuts daily for a few weeks improved arterial elasticity and reduced markers of inflammation, both critical factors in the development of arterial plaque. For older women, chronic low-grade inflammation is a silent but constant threat that significantly raises the risk of heart attack, stroke, and high blood pressure. Walnuts are one of the few foods that can naturally and effectively counteract this process. They can be enjoyed as a snack between meals, added to salads, or mixed into morning oatmeal. Whole, unsalted, and unsweetened walnuts are best to maximize benefits. Because they are calorie-dense, intake should be limited to 5 to 7 walnuts per day, especially for those managing weight or diabetes. With their ability to lower cholesterol, fight inflammation, and enhance vascular function, walnuts are more than just a tasty food. They are an essential part of a heart-protective diet for older women seeking to safeguard cardiovascular health.
Food #4. Beets. Beets are one of the most powerful natural foods for supporting clean and healthy arteries, thanks to their high content of inorganic nitrates. Once inside the body, nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a molecule that plays a key role in relaxing and dilating blood vessels while maintaining stable blood pressure. This process is critical in preventing atherosclerosis and ensuring smooth blood flow throughout the body. In older women, especially after menopause, endothelial function often declines significantly, reducing the body's ability to regulate blood pressure and increasing vulnerability to arterial damage. Nitric oxide from beets helps improve this condition naturally and sustainably. Clinical studies have shown that drinking beet juice regularly for just a few weeks can lower systolic blood pressure by 4 to 10 mmHg, a reduction significant enough to decrease the risk of stroke and heart attack in people over 60. Beets are also rich in antioxidants, such as betalains and polyphenols, which help fight chronic inflammation and reduce the buildup of cholesterol plaques inside the arteries. Beets can be enjoyed in many ways. You can juice them in the morning, boil and add them to salads, or cook them with vegetable soups. For those with low blood pressure or who are taking vasodilator medications, it is important to consult a doctor before consuming high amounts daily, as this could cause excessive drops in blood pressure. Beets may also cause urine to turn reddish in color, which is completely harmless and should not cause concern. With their ability to boost nitric oxide production, lower blood pressure, and fight inflammation, beets are an excellent natural choice for women after age 60 to improve circulation and protect their arteries effectively.
Food #5. Fatty fish. Fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, sardines, and tuna are some of the richest dietary sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which play a critical role in heart health, particularly for women over 60. Omega-3s not only lower triglyceride levels in the blood, but also slow the formation of arterial plaque, a major cause of atherosclerosis and heart attacks. They also reduce inflammation, stabilize heart rhythm, and improve endothelial function, which often declines with age. For older women, conditions such as high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and metabolic disorders frequently overlap, multiplying the risk of heart attack. Multiple studies have shown that eating fatty fish at least twice a week can lower the risk of death from heart disease by up to 30%. These benefits come not only from omega-3s, but also from the easily digestible protein, vitamin D, and selenium found in fish, all of which help protect blood vessel cells and reduce oxidative stress. The healthiest way to prepare fatty fish is by steaming, baking, or pan-searing with olive oil to preserve nutrients. Deep frying or heavily salting the fish should be avoided, as these methods reduce cardiovascular benefits. If you cannot eat fish regularly, speak with your doctor about taking omega-3 fish oil supplements, but always choose high-quality, certified products that are safe for older adults. With their anti-inflammatory properties, lipid-lowering effects, and vascular protection, fatty fish are an essential food for women over 60 who want to prevent cardiovascular disease effectively. Food #6. Beans. Beans, such as black beans, red beans, mung beans, white beans, and lentils, are rich in soluble fiber, plant-based protein, and essential micronutrients like potassium, magnesium, and folate. Cardiologists strongly recommend including beans regularly in the diet of older adults, especially women over 60, to help clean arteries and stabilize blood pressure. The soluble fiber in beans binds to LDL cholesterol in the digestive tract and removes it through waste, naturally lowering cholesterol levels without the need for medication. Beyond lowering cholesterol, beans also help regulate blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and slow carbohydrate absorption. This is particularly important for older women with type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome, as prolonged high blood sugar can damage blood vessel walls and accelerate atherosclerosis. The high potassium and magnesium content in beans also promotes natural vasodilation, helping regulate blood pressure and reduce strain on the heart. Beans can be prepared in many simple ways, such as in soups, stews with vegetables, or cold salads. To reduce gas and bloating, soak beans overnight and cook them thoroughly. For those with sensitive digestion, start with small portions and gradually increase intake. Avoid pairing beans with heavily salted or fried foods to preserve their cardiovascular benefits. Regularly incorporating beans into your meals not only helps prevent heart attacks, but also supports weight management, improves digestion, and enhances overall health for older women. Food #7. Citrus fruits. Oranges, lemons, grapefruits, and tangerines are rich in vitamin C, flavonoids, and pectin fiber, all of which provide powerful support for vascular and heart health. In women over 60, as aging accelerates, the body's ability to repair endothelial damage in blood vessels decreases significantly. Flavonoids such as hesperidin and naringenin found in citrus fruits have strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, helping protect artery walls, prevent cholesterol plaque formation, and improve blood circulation. A large study involving more than 70,000 older women found that those who consumed more citrus fruits had a 19% lower risk of ischemic stroke compared to those who ate less. Vitamin C also supports collagen production, a key structural component of blood vessel walls, keeping arteries strong and resilient. Meanwhile, pectin fiber reduces cholesterol absorption from food, naturally lowering LDL levels in the blood. The best way to maximize benefits from citrus fruits is to eat them whole rather than relying solely on juice, since the pulp and white membranes contain more fiber and flavonoids. Oranges and grapefruits can be eaten at breakfast, enjoyed as a light dessert, or lemon slices can be added to daily drinking water.
However, those taking blood pressure or cholesterol-lowering medications should be cautious with grapefruit, as it can increase drug concentrations in the blood. Always consult a doctor before consuming grapefruit regularly. Incorporating citrus fruits into your daily diet not only strengthens cardiovascular health, but also boosts immunity, reduces inflammation, and slows down aging, making them an excellent choice for women over 60.
Food #8. Turmeric. Turmeric is a familiar spice in Asian cuisine, but few realize it is also one of the most powerful foods for heart health, especially for women over 60. Its main active compound, curcumin, is a natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant that has been widely studied for its ability to reduce vascular damage, slow plaque development, and improve endothelial function. These are key factors in preventing atherosclerosis and avoiding serious cardiovascular events. After age 60, women often face chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body, which silently damages blood vessels and promotes blood clot formation. Curcumin has been shown to inhibit inflammatory molecules such as TNF-alpha and IL-6, thereby lowering systemic inflammation and protecting arteries from progressive injury. In addition, curcumin supports better lipid control by reducing LDL cholesterol and triglycerides while improving insulin sensitivity in those at risk of type 2 diabetes. Turmeric can be used in powder form for cooking soups, stews, or fish dishes, or mixed into warm milk for an evening drink. Because curcumin is poorly absorbed in the digestive tract, it should be combined with a small amount of black pepper or healthy oil to enhance absorption. Taking blood thinners or blood pressure medications should consult their doctor before using turmeric daily or in high doses to avoid potential interactions. When used correctly, turmeric offers comprehensive cardiovascular benefits by reducing endothelial inflammation, lowering cholesterol, and protecting blood vessels over time. This makes it an excellent addition to a heart-protective diet for older women seeking to prevent heart attacks. Food #9. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a fragrant spice long used in both cooking and traditional medicine, and modern science has confirmed its positive impact on heart health, particularly for women over 60. Its key compound, cinnamaldehyde, has anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and blood sugar regulating properties, which indirectly help reduce vascular damage and the formation of atherosclerotic plaque. Cinnamon also helps lower LDL cholesterol and triglycerides while slightly raising HDL, supporting healthier lipid balance naturally. Clinical studies have shown that consuming 1 to 2 grams of cinnamon daily for several weeks can improve insulin sensitivity and lower inflammatory markers in the blood, both of which play crucial roles in preventing cardiovascular complications in older adults. For postmenopausal women, when hormonal changes impair the regulation of blood sugar and cholesterol, cinnamon can serve as a gentle yet effective dietary aid. Cinnamon can be added to the diet in many flexible ways, sprinkled on oatmeal, mixed into herbal tea, or stirred into warm milk at night. However, it is best to use Ceylon cinnamon rather than cassia cinnamon, as cassia contains higher levels of coumarin, a compound that may be harmful to the liver if consumed in large amounts over time. Women taking blood thinners, diabetes medications, or liver treatments should consult their doctor before making cinnamon a regular part of their diet. With its pleasant flavor and ability to support metabolic health, cinnamon is more than just a spice to enhance meals. It is a safe, natural choice for improving heart health in women after 60. Food #10. Oats. Oats are one of the most effective natural foods for lowering cholesterol, making them especially valuable for women over 60 who want to keep their arteries clear and prevent cardiovascular events. The key component in oats is soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which binds to cholesterol in the intestines and prevents it from being reabsorbed, thereby reducing harmful LDL levels in the blood. Just 3 grams of beta-glucan per day, the amount in about 1 cup of cooked oats, is enough to create a significant improvement in blood lipid profiles. Beyond lowering cholesterol, oats help stabilize blood sugar, support weight control, and promote a longer feeling of fullness. This is particularly important for older women, since postmenopausal weight gain is often linked to lipid disorders, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and increased cardiovascular risk. Oats are also rich in manganese, iron, zinc, and vitamin B1, which aid metabolism and contribute to overall health. Oats are simple to prepare and easy to incorporate into daily meals. They can be cooked with water or low-fat milk for breakfast and topped with fresh fruits like apples, blueberries, or oranges for an added antioxidant boost. It is best to avoid adding sugar or heavy cream, as these reduce their heart protective effects. Rolled or steel-cut oats retain more fiber than instant varieties and are the healthier choice. Including oats in your daily diet is not just a smart nutritional decision, but also a key step toward controlling cholesterol, improving circulation, and protecting long-term heart health. For older women, oats provide a natural and sustainable way to strengthen cardiovascular health and reduce the risk of heart disease.
Foods and habits to avoid after age 60. Along with adding heart-healthy foods, it is equally important to limit or eliminate harmful foods that accelerate atherosclerosis and raise the risk of heart attack. For women over 60, when metabolism slows and organ function begins to decline, an unbalanced diet can quickly increase the strain on the heart and blood vessels. The first group to limit is trans fats, commonly found in processed foods such as cookies, potato chips, margarine, and deep-fried snacks. Trans fats not only raise harmful LDL cholesterol, but also lower beneficial HDL cholesterol, rapidly accelerating plaque buildup inside arteries. Saturated fats, present in red meat, poultry skin, organ meats, butter, and full-fat cheese, should also be controlled, as excessive intake contributes to higher LDL levels and increases the risk of heart attack. Refined sugar and foods high in hidden sugars are another major threat. They promote systemic inflammation, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes, all of which directly damage blood vessels. Soft drinks, pastries, boxed breakfast cereals, sweetened yogurt, and packaged fruit juices often contain large amounts of sugar. Consuming these regularly causes blood sugar fluctuations that injure artery walls and accelerate fat buildup within them. Sodium from table salt and processed foods must also be carefully monitored, as it raises blood pressure, a key risk factor for stroke and heart failure. Older women should avoid overly salty foods such as pickles, dried fish, instant noodles, concentrated soy sauce, and deli meats. According to the American Heart Association, total sodium intake should not exceed 1 teaspoon of salt per day. Finally, excessive alcohol intake should also be avoided, since it can elevate blood pressure, trigger arrhythmias, and interfere with many heart medications prescribed to older adults. A heart-healthy diet is not only about adding the right foods, but also about controlling and minimizing harmful ones that silently accumulate damage meal after meal. Heart attack versus stroke, what older women need to know. Heart attacks and strokes are both life-threatening emergencies that occur more often in older adults, especially women after age 60. However, they are two very different conditions in terms of causes, symptoms, and immediate response. Understanding the difference is critical because recognizing the signs early and reacting quickly can prevent losing the golden window of treatment. A heart attack or myocardial infarction happens when blood flow to the heart muscle is blocked, usually by a blood clot or plaque buildup in the coronary arteries. Without oxygen, part of the heart muscle becomes damaged or dies. The most common symptom is chest pain or tightness in the center or left side of the chest, described as squeezing, heavy pressure, or burning that may spread to the left arm, neck, back, or jaw. Other symptoms include shortness of breath, nausea, cold sweats, dizziness, or a feeling of near fainting. In women, symptoms are sometimes less obvious and may appear as mild upper back pain, unusual fatigue, or persistent indigestion, leading many to dismiss or confuse them with minor digestive issues.
A stroke, also known as a cerebrovascular accident, occurs when blood flow to the brain is interrupted, either by a blockage, ischemic stroke, or a blood vessel rupture, hemorrhagic stroke. Brain cells survive only a few minutes without oxygen, so immediate medical attention is critical. Stroke symptoms appear suddenly and are often easier to recognize. Facial drooping, slurred or unclear speech, weakness or numbness in one arm or leg,
loss of balance, blurred vision, or sudden unconsciousness. A simple way to remember is the FAST rule: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call emergency services. Both heart attack and stroke share the same underlying problem, vascular disease, and many of the same risk factors, including high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, and a sedentary lifestyle. Both conditions require urgent medical care within the first few hours to prevent permanent damage or death. Postmenopausal women face an even higher risk, since declining estrogen weakens blood vessel walls and increases the likelihood of blood clot formation. Knowing how to recognize and distinguish between a heart attack and a stroke can save lives, not only your own, but also those of your loved ones. For women over 60, being proactive with medical knowledge is one of the most powerful ways to protect long-term health and safety. Lifestyle changes beyond diet for women over 60. A heart-healthy diet is only one part of preventing cardiovascular disease. To keep arteries clear, flexible, and free from blockages over time, women after age 60 need to adopt daily lifestyle changes. Simple habits such as morning walks, getting enough sleep, or checking blood pressure regularly have a profound impact on vascular and heart health. Regular physical activity is essential. You do not need intense workouts. Just 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walking each day, or at least 5 times per week, can improve circulation, lower blood pressure, and help manage cholesterol. Exercise also increases the production of nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps blood vessels relaxed and flexible while preventing blood clot formation. Gentle activities such as yoga, tai chi, or swimming are also excellent options for older women to maintain long-term cardiovascular health. Quality sleep is equally important. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night or having poor sleep can increase the risk of chronic inflammation and high blood pressure. Setting a consistent bedtime, avoiding electronic devices before sleep, and creating a quiet, calm sleep environment can improve rest in older adults. Managing stress plays a major role in reducing strain on the heart. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, which raises blood pressure, promotes insulin resistance, and contributes to visceral fat accumulation. Daily relaxation through meditation, listening to calming music, journaling, or connecting with loved ones helps counteract these effects. Positive social relationships also indirectly support heart health by lowering loneliness and depression. Routine medical checkups should not be overlooked. Women over 60 should see their doctor at least every 6 months to monitor blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, and heart rhythm. For those with a history of heart disease or other risk factors, strict adherence to prescribed treatments and medications is essential. A proactive, consistent, and balanced lifestyle, combining diet, activity, rest, stress control, and medical monitoring, forms the irreplaceable foundation for protecting arteries and the heart throughout the aging years. You have just completed a journey through the 10 most powerful foods for cleaning arteries and preventing heart attacks, specifically designed for women over 60. This is more than a list of healthy foods. It is the foundation of a survival strategy to protect your heart and blood vessels from sudden, life-threatening events that can strike without warning. Each food in this list has been scientifically proven, is easy to find, simple to prepare, and perfectly suited to the nutritional needs of older adults. But knowledge only matters when it is put into action. The most important step now is to choose one concrete change and start today. It might be replacing white bread with oatmeal for breakfast, adding ground flaxseed to your smoothie, or simply swapping your morning coffee for a cup of green tea. Small but consistent changes are the key to slowing atherosclerosis and extending the life of your heart. If you found this information valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with friends, family, and especially the older women around you. What you share today could save someone's life tomorrow. Don't wait until chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness forces you to worry about your heart health. Act now while you still have time, choices, and the opportunity to change. A healthy heart is the foundation of a peaceful, independent, and happy older age. The decision to protect your health is in your hands, beginning with the foods you choose and the lifestyle you maintain each day. If you want more health guidance designed for women over 60, covering heart attack and stroke prevention, nutrition, and lifestyle habits, subscribe to this channel now. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could help you protect your health and extend your life. Each week, we bring you practical, easy-to-understand advice based on trusted medical sources. Thank you for watching and for taking an active role in caring for your heart.